Back here in the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Football Giants. I am John Schmeelk. It's time to talk to the Giants off-ball inside linebackers. And Bobby Okereke leading that group last year, and he had a chance to talk to us again as we get ready for 2024 training camp. Now we're joined by Giants captain, the linebacker, Bobby Okereke. Bobby, what's up, man?
How we doing, brother?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
Good to see you. Good.
So I imagine this defense is kind of like back to old times for you, right? Back in your days in Indianapolis where you're kind of back in your comfort zone. It's much different than last year. Not that last year was a bad thing. You had a great year. You played great football. But I imagine this is probably very much more similar to some of the stuff you've done in years past, right?
Yeah, a little bit more coverage, more quarters, different emphasis in the run game. I'm adding tools to my tool belt. So I've played in a lot of different schemes. I'm a versatile player, and I'm excited to be in the Shane Bowen defense.
Now, the one thing guys have said to me that is interesting, I'd love to get your take because you're a vet that's played in a zone-heavy scheme before. They say it's zone, but it's an aggressive zone. What's the difference with that?
You got true zone. You got cover three. You have match coverage, which is like a zone match. I think the difference is when a true zone, everyone's on a string following the quarterback's sides. If he's looking left, everyone's going left. If he's looking right, everyone's going right. In a zone match scheme, if you got your area between the hashes or hash to numbers, if a guy's in your zone, it's man.
Man principles,
if
right?
If he's not in your zone, then you can play a little bit more vision on the quarterback.
And that's what this is?
There's variations of both.
Okay, you can do both depending on the call.
Yep.
Eyes on the quarterback. That's one thing everyone's been saying to me that gets them excited about it.
Yep.
Why do you think it gets defensive players so excited?
Because we like to make plays. We like to get picks. We like to get PBUs. And, when you're playing, you can let your instincts show.
How, if at all, is it different in the run game in terms of your rules and principles, gap responsibilities? Compared to last year.
Compared to last year, yeah. I think last year, we played a very physical attacking style. It was less you have the A gap, you have the B gap. It was more your first and your second and your third kind of just all flowing off each other. This is more like you have the A gap. If you have the edge, stick your arm and hold the edge. Maybe a little bit more gap sound that way. There's pros and cons to both, but the players make any defense come alive.
So maybe a little bit more two-gapping in this system rather than one-gapping, kind of just always getting upfield.
I'd actually say more one-gapping as opposed to two-gapping last year.
Oh, interesting. Is that because it's more of an even front than an odd man front, or?
We run both. Base will be more odd.
Odd, right.
And then nickel will be more even. But yeah, I think Shane will do a great job Rolodexing it all the way through.
And that's the one thing Shane Bowen has said. He wants you guys to get upfield at all the times, which makes sense with the one-gapping, right? So How does that, you think, play towards your strengths as a middle linebacker?
It's good. I'll know where everybody else is fitting in front of me, and they're playing fast, so I'll play off of them. It'll allow me to be very aggressive in the run game, and then in the pass, I'll just let my instincts take over.
How good could this pass rush be, adding Brian Burns into the mix? Kayvon's a year older, Dexter, all those guys.
Incredible. I know they'll be fighting each other for sacks, so it'll be a party back there.
Absolutely. Finally, what do you think the upside of this defense is? You've kind of seen the group together. Obviously, you guys aren't hitting yet, and you're not in pads. You haven't seen you guys play as a full unit. But as you see this defense get installed and everyone get used to what their roles and responsibilities are going to be, how good can you guys be, do you think?
Yeah, we have a very high standard, and we're working towards building a championship defense. And that's at all levels, secondary, linebackers, and our front. Those guys are physically dominant, and we'll be making plays in the back end.
Bobby, good stuff, man. Appreciate
Good stuff, brother. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
Have a good one.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows, your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
All right, and now we're joined by Giants linebacker and special teams ace, Carter Coughlin. Carter, how's it going, man?
Doing fantastic. Good to be here.
All right, let's talk about it. New defensive coordinator in the building, Shane Bowen. You've been working at off-ball inside linebacker a lot. What has it been like trying to learn this new system?
Yeah, anytime you learn a new defensive system, there's growing pains that come with it. But one thing that stands out about Shane right away is just his level of detail. Everything's so detailed, especially for the linebacker position. And so, I'm a detail guy, and so I really enjoy that part of it, just understanding exactly how, he wants me to play different defenses, different coverages, all that kind of stuff.
When you talk about details, can you be a little more specific for me? What type of details are we talking about? Are we talking about gap responsibilities, adjusting to what the offense shows you? Where do those details really come into play?
Yeah, it comes into anything, right? Like that's what makes defense so difficult, is because you get the play call, and within a half a second.
Based on what the offense does, everything changes.
Everything changes, yes, right? Shifts, motions, jet motions. The tight end picking up, moving, and then you're reading run and pass, right?
Yeah, of
then
course.
all that kind of stuff. So, but that's what's so great about how he has set up his defense is that there's an answer for everything, right? And so that's where the memorization comes in. That's where the diagnosing comes in, and that's been a huge emphasis for our defense so far.
And I imagine this is much, much different than what you guys did the last couple of years with Wink, right?
Oh, incredibly different. Yeah, night and day different.
How so?
Well, obviously with Wink's defense, it was a lot of blitz zero, right? And
Yeah.
it was, pressure breaks,
sure.
pipes and stuff like that. Whereas now it's, instead of trying to force them to mess up, it's, figuring out what they like to do and then having the answer, right? And that goes back to the detail that I talked about. And so it's, it's more of a standard defense. Just when you think of kind of the NFL blueprint, right, with a lot of different things. But the framework and the way that it's built out, right, if we can hone in on the details and execute it as a defense, it's going to be phenomenal against whoever we play.
You have a new special teams coordinator as well.
Yep.
How has it been learned from him?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Gobes is full of energy and passion, and you can see that every single day. The dude absolutely loves special teams, and I love special teams.
I know you do.
Him and I get along really, really well. But it's similar thing, right? You get a new coordinator, special teams coordinator, and again comes new details, right? New systems, new all that kind of stuff. And so we're going through learning all of that, and he too is a really detail-oriented guy. And so that's what's great about OTAs is you just get a chance to kind of strip everything down without dealing with the physical aspect of football and focus on those details.
And the final question, not just a new coordinator, you're learning a whole new play.
Yeah.
Like kickoff is a whole new
Yeah.
play. What has it been like trying to figure out exactly what this play is going to be like? Because really nobody knows how people are going to scheme this thing up.
Right. Well, before I got out here to OTAs, I was working with my trainer, and we wanted to simulate it a little bit, right, just to get a feel for what it could be
Sure.
like. So he was set up, the couple yards ahead of me, just like kickoff's going to be, and got a feel for what it's like to go once the ball carrier catches the ball or lands in the landing zone, and that brief little spurt, and then you have to make a move. And what gets me excited is it's a lot like pass rushing.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I've got a little bit of that pass rushing background in me. So, but it's completely different. We've been doing stuff these OTAs that we're trying to simulate what it will look like, and as much as it is for us, it's also for the coaches, just
Absolutely.
to be like what is this actually going to be like in a game? And you put these details in, and then we get out to practice, and the ball's live, and all of a sudden those details change a little bit because it's like, okay, wow, this is hitting faster than we thought. This is we need certain guys here, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a huge learning curve for everybody, I think, and I promise you preseason is going to be crazy.
It'll be fun. Can't wait to see it, Carter. Appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, now we're joined by Giants linebacker Darrian Beavers. Darrian, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great, man. Just focusing on football. Basically, it's all it's been about.
And that was going to be my first question. When you were a rookie, you came in, you would combine, getting ready for the draft, all that stuff. Then last year, you're rehabbing.
Yeah.
This is like your
Yeah.
first real
Off-season.
NFL offseason.
Yeah.
Do you think you've been able to take advantage of it? Like, what has it been like?
For the difference between last year and this year, like I said, I was here. I was training during the off season. I didn't take like a 3-week or that 2-week, whatever, that month period where just mentally, just mentally, it was just football 24/7 for the past 2 years. So this off season was really good, just to, obviously with everything that happening with me, just take a mental break. Just step back, Darrian, step back and just find stuff, find stuff that you like, you know what I mean? So mentally, this off season was just amazing for me mentally. So now I can come back, and now football is just feels fresh again, you know what I mean? Not like I just been doing it for so long. So for me, it was amazing, man. This off season's been a blessing, seeing my son and everything.
That's
too.
awesome. How old's your son?
4.5.
Oh, that's awesome,
So-
man. That's great.
So man, it's just been a blessing.
You talk about a fresh start. It is kind of fresh.
Yeah.
New defense, right? I got to imagine this is probably the system a lot more similar to what you did in college than what.
I mean, it's just a lot more not like freedom to do a lot of things, but like you said, it's just a little bit more vanilla than what Wink had. So
And you actually get to watch the quarterback and react and stuff like that,
it's
right?
just- yeah, that's like stuff like that. It's more like just playing football. So we give a lot of opportunity just to see football players out there. and just play for fun.
Now that you've had a chance to figure out what they want from you in the system and you're not rehabbing, where do you think you've gotten better the most? Where have you taken the most steps as a player from last season to this season?
Just I would say everything. It's a constant just trying to improve on everything. Like if that's physicality, if that's speed, strength, and everything. So it's always trying to improve. I would say that, but the biggest emphasis is just learning. Obviously, just learning the playbook right now. You want to be a wizard out there. You want to know, especially in my position, in certain positions, you just want to know everything. You know what I mean? And knowledge is power. So just trying to get to the way where I know the playbook in the back of my hand, and then I can start studying other people. You know, because I already know what I got to do. So now I can start. That's when you really get really good, and that's when you really have really good defenses. When you
you're thinking about what they're trying to do to you, not thinking about what you're supposed to do on that play, right?
Because you already know what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? It's like human nature at that point. So yeah, it's just trying to. That's what OTAs is for. Just trying to be really good. Just trying to make sure you know the system. So when training camp comes, you can. When the season starts, you can start studying other people and not just still worrying about what you have to do.
And I'm not telling you something you don't already know. If you want to be on the Final 53, you want to get a jersey on game day, you're going to have to play all 4 special teams, right? So what has it been working with Michael Gabriel, the new special teams coach, and trying to figure out what he wants out of you?
I'll say this. That's something also that we have to learn, too, because all the new kickoff rule and everything. So it's been, I would say it's been really interesting seeing all the new drills that we have to do because of the new thing. So
we were watching you guys all frozen still, by the way, 5 yards just staring, waiting for the ball to catch it, then you kind of go.
Yes, and
it's funny to watch.
Not the first practice, as soon as the ball was kicked, like a bunch of us like moved, like it's just a natural reaction. But now we have to wait for them to catch it. So it's just learning, like I said, it's just we've been doing it since we was 7 years old. Every time the ball gets kicked, we move. So just something like that, just training it, and I think he's doing a really good job about bringing on the new rules and just bringing a different side of special teams.
Is the kickoff play, final question, is the kickoff play more like a running play now where teams can like really scheme out of it? Like you almost run the zone concepts. Like
we're going to see. Obviously, those are my opponents. If I'm running down on kickoff, I don't want to try to give them the recipe. But
Darren, I don't think anyone has any idea what anyone's going to do, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I would say yes, in ways the levels of it makes it like a defensive play more than like having just a bunch. Like the normal kickoff was people were spread out 40 yards, 30 yards, whatever. But this one is just
and there was definitely a chaos like factor with the old kickoff, right? Like this seems much more controlled. Like
this one's more, like I said, it's more definitely like a play that makes sense. You can go down, you can get a gap. We all have our own gaps and stuff.
Yeah,
it gets almost to a defensive play at that point. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see it. Darren, appreciate the time, my man.
Thank you so much.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Football is coming, and so is the next college semester. If you need funding, a Citizens student loan could help you pay for 100% of your school certified cost. Get your rate quote in about 2 minutes at citizensbank.com/payforcollege. And now we're joined by Giants linebacker Micah McFadden. Micah, how are you, man?
Doing well.
So learning a new system this year. How's it gone?
I think it's been good. Yeah. Obviously whenever you have a new scheme like that, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of new stuff to learn and kind of get down. And, there's always a difference between learning it in the classroom and then getting out on the field and trying to put it all together. But I think we're coming along. Guys are starting to communicate more out there, and we're starting to figure it out.
Does it help that you and Bobby have a whole year of playing next to each other where you guys can talk to each other to figure out, and from a player perspective, and executing it what Shane Bowen's trying to get you guys to do?
Without a doubt, yeah. And, obviously having that experience and that camaraderie we've had for the past year, but, just kind of being able to communicate and recognize the differences between the two schemes, and then obviously the similarities. Kind of making those connections as we're putting it all together.
We were talking to some of the secondary guys, and their big theme has been, a lot more zone facing the quarterback as opposed to last year. What's the big difference in this system versus last year's for the off-ball inside linebackers?
Yeah, something kind of similar. I think we're just keeping our eyes more on the quarterback and, kind of reading it from there. Now, obviously, there's going to be situations where we're in man coverage a little bit more, but I think the biggest difference is I think there'll be a little bit more of that zone component where we, play with more eyes and vision and break. So, I think it's going to help.
And probably less blitzing for you. I'm sure you're not happy about that.
Maybe a little bit less. Every
Are you lobbying for that a little bit?
Not as much, but, just do what they say and I'll be all right, I think.
Absolutely. When you took a look at your tape last year when the season was over and you watched it, what were some of the things that you thought you need to work on and try to get better at?
Yeah, I think, I think this scheme will help a lot, just zone coverage and, kind of making the right reads on the back end. I felt like I was pretty effective in the run game, but I think there's a lot to clean up as far as footwork and technique, and like I said, just the fundamental parts of the game that kind of make the difference.
When you say footwork and technique, you mean like finishing when you're tackling, like getting to the ball, taking the right angle? What parts of it?
I would say more, your first point, finishing a tackle, staying on my feet, driving through a ball carrier. But yeah, footwork at the line of scrimmage, I think it all starts with your, at our position, it starts with your stance and your start. And just kind of correcting those little details, that make players great.
Because frankly, last year, from my perspective, it seemed like you were often putting yourself in the right position to make the play with your pre-snap read and your reaction to first movement on offense. Were you happy with that part of your game?
Yeah, I think, obviously, getting my reps as a rookie and then, kind of bleeding into last year, I think just that experience helped, kind of narrow my focus. And, as the season went on, I felt more comfortable doing those things. So, yeah, just kind of building off that and correcting the things that, I think I need to get better at.
Micah, good luck this year, my man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, now we're joined by Giants rookie linebacker Darius Muasau. Darius, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
So how has the NFL experience been for you the first, 8 weeks you've been here or whatever it's been?
Yeah. It's been surreal, really. Just coming from Hawaii all the way out here to New York, man. That 10-hour flight, man, was no joke, but I'm happy to be here, having the time of my life, playing ball with my teammates, having an amazing coaching staff. I'm just really blessed to be here.
Now, when you get, it's going to be okay in the summer. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. It's going to be what you're used to. Have
Right.
you gotten your cold weather gear ready for like November or December yet?
Yes, I've actually started my shopping for that. I'm starting, being proactive
That's good.
in that case. Yeah, just trying to make sure I'm ready for the cold when it comes. But yeah, I'm loving the weather right now. It reminds me of home. The humidity, you got the 80. We're getting some 80-degree days here. But I'm loving it. But I'm getting ready for those 30 degrees, 40-degree weather, or if that. So.
And this has been nice training camp. 90s humid, like it.
Right.
It's no joke, man. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it
good.
is no joke. But like that's what I'm used to. That's what I grew up in.
Right.
Playing in the heat. And at the end of the day, we're just playing ball. But I feel like the heat doesn't really stress me.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
How about the defense? You're trying to learn Shane Bowen's system as a linebacker. I mean, I always say I think it's the toughest position for a player to come in and try to figure out. You have
Right.
pass game responsibilities, run game responsibilities, and frankly, offensive coordinators now create offenses to pick on you guys in the middle of the field with whether it's misdirections, read option, all that stuff. What has it been like trying to learn the system over the past 6 weeks?
It's been a great experience. I'm learning a lot from my coaching staff. You mentioned Coach Shane, Coach Eggs, even from my D-line coaches. I'm learning a lot just from, being in the same meeting room as them, trying to pick their brains. I'm really just being a sponge right now, soaking in all the knowledge from them. But yeah, Coach Shane's defense, he allows for us to play fast. Not really too much thinking involved, but it's more so just, being able to react on the dot and just, and you mentioned like, it's hard for linebackers in this league because they always offenses try to make mismatches, they would say with linebackers. And, that's one thing that I've learned real fast is that guys are really fast in this league. And it's kind of hard to
One
keep up with
wrong
them.
step, one direction.
Yes.
You're cooked, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. One wrong step, man. This guy is 5 yards down the field already, asking for the ball with this hand, catching the ball already. And the quarterbacks will pull it right on the money. And so, I'm learning real fast. I had a lot of lessons already within the 8 weeks that I've been here. But, man, I'm loving this experience.
How has Bobby Okereke been with you? He's such a smart guy,
Yes.
trying to kind of teach you all the ins and outs of the position.
Yeah, he's such a seasoned vet. I would, that's how I would explain him to others. Is just he does his job so well. He knows the game inside and out, and just being able to just pick his brain, along with the vets and also the coaches. That's just a lot of knowledge for me to gain, and knowledge is power in this game. And so I'm really excited to be able to be in the same room as Bobby and learn from him at the same time.
As you begin your NFL career, what are some of the things in college that you think, all right, I'm pretty good at this. Always room for improvement, obviously, but this is the strength of my game. And then what are the things that you have circled? You're like, all right, I want to make sure I work on A, B, and C so I can take that next step.
Right. Some of the things that I know I need to work on is just being able to improve my man coverage. And like you said, going back to, offenses try to attack defenses, getting mismatches with the linebackers against their slots, or, the dynamic running backs that
the
they
running
have.
back option routes,
Yes,
right?
option routes, exactly. And so just being able to understand defenses and know where my help is, what leverage am I going to be taking on the running back with when I'm playing man-to-man on him, and just really going back to minute details, understanding that, and understanding the defense will help me out with my man coverage at the end of the day. But I feel really good with just learning from Coach Eggs. He's giving me golden nuggets, just being able to help improve my weaknesses here and there. But then going back to what I did do good in college that I can transfer over into the league is just playing with my instincts. At the end of the day, we're just playing ball out there, right. And all the offenses can be cooking up all these different plays. Defense, once we get the call in from Coach Shane, it just comes down to who wants it more, who's going to execute better. And so I feel like that's what that's what I do best, is just going out and just executing my play.
And then you're a third-day linebacker. You're playing special teams if you want to get a jersey on game days, right? And a big part of that is the kickoff rule, which is new for everybody. Everyone's trying to figure this thing out at the same time.
Right.
What's your early impressions about the play, what your role and responsibility might be, and what teams are going to try to do? Because I think everyone is kind of like, we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray area with this new rule, but I'm kind of loving this new rule of the kickoff, because that just allows us to be more physical in a sense. Being 5 yards apart from the point of contact, that's what I love about this game, is just being physical with another man and just being able to assert your dominance. That's really what I love to do, just make contact, being able to shed the block and get back there to the ball carrier. And then as far as we've been working some KOR techniques, as far as just pivoting, pedaling, and then making contact and just driving your feet. Just little it's kind of different from the old rule, but very similar in different ways. But everyone's adapting and learning. Our special teams coordinator, Coach Gobi, is helping us out with that, and we're gonna get it down, to a T when it comes off to kickoff time.
Darius, we can't wait to see it, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
the time,
Appreciate
dude. Thank you very much. Nice group of inside linebackers there for the New York Football Giants. Thanks for being with us in the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Football Giants. Check out the Giants Huddle podcast for all the other position groups as we continue along here as we get ready for camp in 2024.